Audio's on, Stephen.
Oh, good.
Binte dir, Messiniane. Binte dir, Messiniane.
Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE.
Thank you for that.
Joining us once again. I gathered that, John. And we'd just like to thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel and our Twitch stream, of course, and we hope you had a lovely weekend, folks. We're just going to kick on, as you can hear in the background and on split screen. Yes, there he is, the man himself, John C. Walsh, co-hosting as always, carrying the fort on Tuesdays and Thursdays, always here, never lets the team down. I certainly do all the time.
No, you don't.
Certainly on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Stephen, you have a newborn baby.
Yes.
I have a 6.5 stone Labrador.
I am gibbering. But
Yes.
I'm going to move on, John, before I start slurring my words, because I know that's the next thing that comes. As you can gather from the headline,
Yes.
we're going to be talking about Fatima Shaikh, who we were just talking about the other week there, John, in our review of Dangal. She
Yes.
says that she's learnt a lot during her Bollywood stint. This is coming in from timesofindia.com. Now, after making a super successful debut with Dangal, Fatima Shaikh instantly became hot property in Bollywood. However, her next Thugs of Hindustan, which we reacted to,
Yes.
bombed at the box office, sadly. And post that, the actress hasn't been seen in any films. Now, however, she has two back-to-back releases, Ludo, which we have reacted to and
Looks
looking forward to
brilliant, man.
seeing, and Suraj P. Mangal Barry, all set to
Rather you
release.
than me, Stephen.
And the actress couldn't be happier. Now, she is very present on Instagram, I've noticed
Yes.
from this article, which is very good. In a recent interview, Fatima admitted that she expected to be inundated with offers after her debut film, but things didn't work out as she thought they would. However, she added that it's not left her disillusioned by the industry. She said that she's reached a stage where she could choose projects that matched her beliefs, and that she was grateful about that. And just to round off this article, John, adding
Yes.
that the failure of her second film came as a big blow. Fatima said that she had constantly to tell herself not to feel insecure. She said that the experience taught her that even if the film fails, working with talented stars such as Amit Bachchan and Amir Khan was something that would always
Whoa.
remain with her. Probably better doing that, John, the way I pronounce names. The actress said that despite the failure,
Very hard,
she
Stephen.
had learnt something valuable from the debacle of the film. Now, John, just before we get into the sort of pressures of being an actor and obviously the insecurities that come with the trade, we were talking about this fine actor only 2 weeks ago when we did our review of Dangal, and funnily enough, when it comes to that, we always do the same format when we do movie reviews.
Yes.
And the big question that always comes up near the end of the review is performances. Now, naturally, a lot of people would assume Amir Khan would have been the first pick. He wasn't, not because he was bad or anything like that. He was fantastic. He carried the film for large parts of it anyway. It was this actor, Fatima Shaikh, that stood out for both of us. That was who we picked as the standout performer. And she was only in the movie for half the film as the duration as well,
Yeah.
which says a lot about her performance, and it says a lot about her screen presence as well, doesn't it?
It does, Stephen. She was very impressive in Dangal. I thought she was probably even par with perhaps Amir Khan for sheer emotive performance. Obviously,
Yeah.
Amir Khan, physical transformation,
Yeah.
an overarching presence in the movie. He was a sort of father figure who put them on this path to stardom. He was also a real standout as well. I'll go to myself to give you a break, Stephen.
Thank
Just
you. I'm going to have a
try and
drink.
utilise the wide shots a little bit more in this show, because we just don't do it, and we have got two very expensive cameras, so it's absolute blasphemy, really. But yeah, Stephen, I thought she was absolutely brilliant, Fatima, and it's very interesting, this article, seeing obviously the pitfalls of stardom. Breakout performance in Bollywood terms with Dangal, and then she goes to do Thugs of Hindustan with Amir Khan again. We reacted to the trailer. I thought it looked pretty decent from the trailer.
Yeah.
Sort of rip-off of Pirates of the Caribbean with musical elements.
That's right.
By all accounts, absolutely bombed at the box office. A floppity flop. So she's had the euphoria of a real successful movie, biopic, historical, and then she's had the absolute sort of, I don't know, downfall of a bomb at the box office. And just hearing her speaking about euphoria to a low, and then obviously not getting as many offers in terms of movies, auditions, as she would have thought. Very interesting, because I recall Stephen speaking about a similar thing with Mina Masood, who played Aladdin in the live action remake a couple of years ago, and he said the same thing. He had the euphoria of being a sort of leading man alongside Will Smith in that movie, expecting to be an absolute superstar maybe in his own mind, getting lots of movie offers. He didn't even get an audition.
No.
So this is not just something that's isolated to Fatima. Seen it with many different actors. Daisy Ridley recently after Rise of Skywalker says she had no auditions, very little movie roles, starting to pick up now. It seems it's the same with Fatima. It went a little bit sort of barren for a period, but now she has got Ludo and Suraj P. Mangal Barry coming up, so hopefully she picks up for her again. Stephen, you says that we reacted to Ludo. I thought it looked brilliant.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
I liked
it looked really, really interesting as a concept. I think she'll be a standout performer again. We've seen it already with Danielle, what she can do.
Do you think studios deliberately do that when there's an up-and-coming star and the film sort of supersedes expectations, John, and their performance catches everyone by surprise, that studios possibly back off a little?
Good, yeah.
Just a bit of breathing space before they go and, scout these talented people,
Seen it with the kid actors, Stephen, child actors, how they go off the rails. The stardom goes to their head. I don't see how it'd be any different with maybe a mid-20s, 30-year-old, even though they're a little bit more mature. The fame, the stardom, maybe catch them off guard, go to their head a little bit. Perhaps the studios with so much money on the line will look maybe to check their emotional state, give them a little bit of a breather. That didn't really happen with her though. She did go straight into Thugs of Hindustan, and by all accounts a big sort of budget movie. Again, Amir Khan. That's the other thing, Stephen. Amir Khan, this guy by all accounts is an absolute superstar over in India, one of the big names.
Yeah.
Her first foray into Bollywood, she's starring alongside Amir Khan and almost acting alongside him for half the movie pretty much. Although she was away for periods obviously with the whole National Sport Institute stuff, but that must have been an honour. And then to work with him again, she must have thought she'd died and gone to heaven. So for it to flop, it shows you there's no real giving in any industry anywhere in the world.
There was a reason we did pick her as a standout performer. There was two scenes that stood out for me. Was the battle, the physical battle she had with her father, which I thought was really powerful. I thought she was going to kill him. And also the telephone conversation as well. That whole build up to her going to the phone and him accepting the call as well was tremendously emotional. And that was down to both actors, so
most of the emotive stuff being acted in that movie was done by Fatima.
Yeah.
Sort of playing this. She's sort of fled the nest, if you like, and then she's had to come back and learn the ways again. Most of the meat and bones acting, emotional stuff. I'm not saying that Amir didn't do it either, but she certainly carried it with the emotional stuff. Whole human lexicon of emotions is what I like to say, and she's certainly done that. So she's proven she's a very talented actor, and I absolutely believe she'll pop back to success in this next movie with Ludo. And then the other one, Suraj P. Mangal Barry. That's not to say she was terrible in the Thugs of Hindustan. I can't say if she was or not. I've not watched it. It's probably just been the overall concept of the movie is not hit off in India, and she's just been unfortunate. It's her second movie. They maybe get cold feet. Amir's not going to lose work because the guy's absolutely proven himself to be a star by all accounts. I'm just starting in my foray into Indian movies, so I can't really say with a degree of confidence whether that's the case, but superstar, absolute legend over there by all accounts, so he's not going to be affected. She's up and coming. They've took a little bit of a break. She's got 2 movies coming up. Hopefully she rebounds back, because look, I was impressed, as I did say, and she's still young, man, so plenty of time left in her career.
It's a funny old game, the acting business though, John. 1 minute you're up, the next you're down, you're back up again. It's so inconsistent. You've just got to sort of take each day as it comes, as
look
they say.
Look at Johnny Depp.
Yeah, well, that's who we're going to talk about
look
next,
at Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, well,
look at Mel Gibson.
It's all about Johnny Depp now, John, because we're going to move on to our next topic. This is coming in from Screen Rant. It's how Fantastic Beasts 3 can explain Johnny Depp's exit from the franchise. Now, Johnny Depp is no longer involved with Fantastic Beasts 3. I think this actually dropped the day of our review, John, so I don't think we covered it, did we? No. I can't remember. I know we talked about it.
I covered it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw your tweet, and I back you up on that one. But here's how the movie can explain, is it Gellert Grindelwald, being recast. When the Fantastic Beasts franchise launched in 2016, many were surprised to see Johnny Depp appear as the dangerous dark wizard. The very end of the movie included the reveal that Percival Graves, played by Colin Farrell, was actually Grindelwald in disguise. This set up Depp to play a major role in Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald and beyond. Grindelwald's importance to Fantastic Beasts series and Depp's star power are immense, which is why the recent news that Depp is exiting the franchise was somewhat surprising. The former Pirates of the Caribbean star has been at the centre of some controversy over the last few years due to the domestic abuse allegations by his ex-wife Amber Heard. Although Warner Brothers and Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling stood by him at first, Depp's exit from Fantastic Beasts 3 comes after a recent court case was not ruled in his favour. This is believed to be the reason behind Warner Brothers deciding only now to ask Depp to step away. So, John, how are they going to explain this? There is a few theories. In fact, we mentioned the reveal of Percival Graves in this actual article here, so that's
Colin
something
Farrell,
that you actually suggested as well. So
that's what a lot of people are calling for. They're calling for Colin Farrell to come back, Stephen.
Yeah.
People who are still interested in this franchise are calling for Colin Farrell to come back. I could still have interest in this franchise if Warner Brothers do the right thing and get rid of Amber Heard from Justice League and from Aquaman 2, because she's every bit as complicit in these domestic abuse stuff that's been going on. And I wasn't there, I wasn't party to what happened, but I can only go on the audio admissions from Amber Heard that she did indeed inflict violence upon Johnny Depp as well. I don't know if Johnny hit her. By all accounts, he threw a phone off a wall and it hit her third hand. And I don't condone violence to anybody, be they female, male. It's unacceptable, domestic abuse. And I watched it on another channel, and a certain individual, I think, summed it up perfectly. Certain relationships are atomic. When two individuals get together, they're just not meant to be together. They can start off well, and then it just deconstructs underneath them, the whole marriage, and they just rub each other up the wrong way. And sometimes decent people, and by all accounts Johnny Depp is a decent person, these other relationships, people like Winona Ryder and stuff like that, have come out and says completely out of character, not like him at all. By all accounts he's a decent guy, so maybe he's been caught up in something and he's went over the line a couple of times, I don't know. He's been found guilty at a civil law court or a lawsuit, obviously, with the Sun. I'm not going to get into the Sun. I spoke about that in another comment section on YouTube. I wouldn't wipe my arse with that rag. An absolute disgrace of a paper. Made up lies about so many people over the past 30-40 years. They're a joke paper. So if anything they say, I usually go with the opposite. So I'm going off on a rant here. They can still do the right thing. If Warner Brothers get rid of Amber Heard, I will have interest in this, and then I will be intrigued to see where they can take this character.
All depends on court rulings, though, John.
It does. Well, Steve, we've still got a court ruling to be done over in the United States, so they've kind of jumped the gun, which surprises me. And again, it's just the hypocrisy. With Amber Heard having admitted she hit him, and she still gets her job in Justice League reshoots and obviously in Aquaman 2, I can't get my head around that hypocrisy. I'm not saying if he's done it that he deserves to keep his job. It doesn't. But the two of them should be out. And then we can speak about recasting what's that called? Her face? Mira, yeah. And we can talk about recasting Gellert Grindelwald, because they can certainly do it. If any franchises get the opportunity. Is that the only way they can do it,
John, or is that the only way you think it would work?
Well, Stephen, they've got previous in Harry Potter for recasting Albus Dumbledore. Obviously, it was your man, the Irish guy, Richard something, I think.
Richard Harris
passed away, very old. They brought in Michael Gambon, so no one really gave a shit then. It was sad that Richard had passed away, or Harris passed away, but we watched the movie and it just seemed to blend in organically. If they do the right thing and get rid of Amber Heard, then they can certainly... if they don't, I'll not be watching it, so I don't really care either way. I'll be finished, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like me. But if they do the right thing, I'd love to see Colin Farrell coming back, because he was great in the first one. Really cool looking guy, the slick back hair. I can't see why he can't play him again. I can just say it was an elaborate ruse. That Johnny Depp was the transfigured version, and that Colin Farrell was a real Gellert Grindelwald the whole time. If not, they can bring in somebody else, because as they do say in this article, transfigurement, I think that's what they call it anyway, transformation. Wizards can change their appearance in this franchise,
that's the beauty of it,
you can have multiple Grindelwalds throughout this franchise and just keep recasting the character. Johnny's not going to be back though. He's finished, I'm sure. Even if he wins his civil libel suit or whatever the hell it's called over in the States, I'm sure he's not going to get back to Warner Brothers. They've well and truly burnt their bridges there. So he's done, which is a shame, because I thought he was decent in the role. But hey ho, that's life. If they don't get rid of Heard, I'm done, man. I'm done with this franchise, so they can shove it up. And a lot of people are done with it anyway because of J.K. Rowling's sort of stance.
I was going to say that, John. I think that might have pushed Warner Brothers into a corner,
Yeah.
and as you said, they've jumped the gun. But it could be just a reaction. It's a reactionary decision, certainly, that the way it's went with Johnny Depp. But I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, as the case unfolds, obviously, decisions are made over
He's
Amber
a main
Heard.
character as well, Stephen.
Yeah.
Grindelwald. It's a prequel involving his relationship with Dumbledore. The whole Wizard War and stuff like that. You can't really write him out. He's a main sort of fixture in this story. So it has to recast.
Exactly.
It has to be recast. It's just who they bring in now.
Yeah.
And if they don't do the right thing, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I'll be done with it anyway, so I don't give a shit.
We're going to move
the
on.
original Harry Potter movies,
Anyway,
they were really good.
Well, I thought, after obviously your tweet, a couple of days ago, and we didn't get the opportunity to talk about it last week anyway. It kind of dropped round about the time we were wrapping up the movie news shows anyway for the week to do a review. So just thought I'd throw it in there just to get.
I love to get my digs at Amber Heard.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to move on very swiftly to our next topic. This is all about why Superman Returns 2. Superman Returns 2 doesn't sound right to me.
No,
Superman Returns Again, maybe. Never happened. That's rubbish as well. Never happened according to Brandon Routh, because they couldn't come up with a good name.
Superman never went away.
Yeah. So Brandon Routh, who portrayed Superman in 2006, Superman Returns, has explained why a sequel to the blockbuster film never came to fruition. Now,
what is going on here? Why have I got this article?
Was in an interview from Speedy Comics Con via Comic Book. I think we've talked about them before. Good source. Brandon Routh discussed why a sequel to Superman Returns never received the green light. When asked why the sequel never moved forward at the studio, Routh responded by stating, "The intention was to do a sequel, always to do with a big tentpole movie like that." Routh explains in the video above, we're not going to play it, they want to make more as long as they feel like they've recouped the money that they've invested into the film. At the end of the day, the studio Warner Brothers decided it was too much of a gamble for them to do a sequel. The creative entities, the writers and directors, were on to other things. Certain people at the studio were excited out Superman. Great right now. Had left to go on to other projects at other studios, exactly. So it was both the passion and interest in Superman dissipate, and the movie, I guess, from them didn't bring back enough monetary success for them to pull the trigger on it. It's the age-old story, John. If a film doesn't perform well at the box office, it's very unlikely you're going to get a sequel, isn't it? It doesn't matter even if it's Superman.
He's deader than dead.
And there's nothing wrong with Brandon Routh's Superman. He's one of the best Clark Kent Superman as far as I'm concerned. Not the best, because we did a poll.
Clark Reeves, Christopher Reeves. Clark Kent.
Yeah. So what's your take on this, John? Because we both saw this film maybe at different times. I saw it on its release. And it sounds like a sort of reject Liverpool player would come up to a Scottish club or something like that. Anyway, but I think, John, yeah, I saw the film in 2006 when its release. I don't know when you did see it, but I thought it was good.
A long time ago.
At that time, Bryan Singer was an astute director, and I thought it was a very interesting thing he did with continuing on from Superman 2, the Christopher Reeve film, Superman 2, and having the John Williams music back in. It's one of the best intros to a Superman film ever. The explosion of Krypton, and then you get the build up of the John Williams music, fantastic. And those original credits, those title credits that zoom by the screen and all that kind of thing, light blue coloured. I loved it. I thought Brandon Routh did a great job. Some might say it was doing an impression of Christopher Reeve. I think that's a little tad unfair. He's obviously come back to reprise the role as well, and that can't remember what it's called. It was a kind of crossover thing, wasn't it? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Multiple Earths, something.
Yeah, I can't remember. Crisis
on Multiple Earths,
something like that. And you had Kevin Spacey. I'm saying all the wrong names tonight, aren't I? Who was a great Lex Luthor. He was a great Lex Luthor.
That's why the film didn't continue, Steve.
But
you've answered your own question.
Kate Bosworth, James Marsden, Parker Posey, Frank Langella was in there, Sam Huntington, Cal Penn, the list goes on. It was a big cast, John, and it was a big budget film as well. Sometimes it's not enough though. Just sometimes it just doesn't really appeal to people. I think there was such a long gap between the last Superman film, which was 1987's
Yeah.
Quest for Peace. Stop! Don't do it.
The people. Nuclear man.
You know.
Nuclear weapon.
But what's your take on this, John? I know I've kind of answered the question anyway, but what's your feelings towards this film? Is this a film you regard as an okay Superman film, a good Superman film?
Stephen, every Superman movie's great.
Yeah.
Everyone. Even the Quest for Peace in its own shit way is great. You've got Christopher Reeve playing that character. It's still good.
Yeah.
Even if the CGI shit. And look, it was the same with Brandon Routh. It's still a very decent movie. It's just unfortunate the way it sort of fell in terms of timing. 2006. The sequel would have probably took place around about 2008-9 at best. By that point, I would imagine Warner Brothers and DC were already mapping out and storyboarding a potential DCEU, an expanded universe. They probably came to the collective decision that we don't want to continue on the Reeves sort of a Reeve version of the character, because he was a continuation of the Christopher Reeve version of the character. We don't really want to continue that on. We're bringing in Zack Snyder. He's got a dark tone, doesn't mesh with the Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh version of the character. It's a little bit more airy, traditional superhero movie. So I think it was just unfortunate that the timing, they were wanting to move on to a darker tone, a different kind of story, a different kind of Superman. And Henry Cavill gave us a different kind of Superman, different kind of story. So that's why ultimately I think it didn't make.
Yeah. Listen, I never considered that actually. The timing of this would have been in between the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
It would have been in between
darker success.
Batman Begins and the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
They seen the success of Christopher Nolan, the darker style, and they wanted to sort of create that with the DCU.
As well, John, if they were going to be doing a sequel, this was came out in 2006, it would have been round about 2008 or something like that.
Yeah.
When Iron Man came out as well. You can't say that, Warner Brothers and obviously
they must have get wind as well, Steve.
We're having their eye on what the Marvel were doing over at their studios as well. So
had they been in production, Steve, in 2007, they would have been well aware that Marvel were starting something off, something special potentially, and they would have wanted to try to have catched up with that as quickly as possible. So that's why I see it happening, because Routh's a brilliant Superman. You've seen it in the little cameos he made in that Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's what it was, not multiple.
Yeah.
So he's a brilliant actor, and he was perfectly fitting for that character. The reinterpretation of Christopher Reeve. I always screw that up. It's definitely Reeve, not Reeves.
No, it's not Reeves.
Christopher Reeve version of the character.
It's George Reeves.
That
played the TV serial.
Yeah, the guy he gets shot, didn't he? He killed himself.
I think he committed suicide.
Yeah, there was the character sort of tinged with tragedy, isn't there? There's a sort of curse surrounds it, which is a shame. Also, Reeve falling off the horse and stuff, horrendous.
Yeah. Then thing they do in The Witcher.
Well, it's tinged with tragedy. The guy's never got to really play the character again in his own movie.
True,
he was great.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Henry Cavill. I want to see him back.
So
but we're going off on a tangent here. It's not about Henry Cavill, it's about Brandon Routh. I think what you said as well, Stephen, Bryan Singer, Kevin Spacey, they were connected to it. They're dirty goods. Even back then, they were probably dirty. It was like Jimmy Savile. I keep bringing this guy up on our shows. I don't know why. This dodgy
pedo. I don't think our demographic actually knows who that is,
this
John.
dodgy pedo guy for the 70s I keep bringing up on this show, but it kind of connects in some strange way, because everybody around, it was like John Lydon, who was in the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
He admitted 20 years ago that everybody in the institution and behind the scenes of these institutions, the likes of BBC, knew what Savile was up to. But it'd have been the same in Hollywood, Stephen. They would have been aware of Harvey.
Trump now, though, John.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what is going on with you, Lydon? Jesus Christ, mate.
Honestly,
why are you voting for that racist, misogynistic, tangle-faced git? Come on, man. I mean, Biden's not perfect, but he's better than that guy by a long shot. We're not getting into politics. This raving lunatic contesting an election he's been absolutely spanked in.
Yeah.
Give it up. Just get back to playing golf until you get incarcerated for your dodgy tax avoidance. But look, I digress. I mean, they would have known about Spacey, they would have known about Singer back then, man, and you don't really want that connection moving forward. They didn't do it. They would have known it would have come out at some point, Stephen. And then they don't want that connection coming up. It's like Depp. They don't want the press junkets or the negative attention. So I think it's more DCEU, but that as well probably put the final nail in the coffin.
So do you think the sort of DC TV stuff, that was just really throwing Brandon Routh a bone, really?
Yeah.
I think they knew that he did a good job.
Yeah.
And it was just here's some crumbs.
What would they done with Nick Cage?
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad they did that with that sort of neckline of a suit he had.
Long hair, Superman.
Terrible.
Clark Kent.
It was almost like Loki, wasn't it? The hairdo.
It was like Loki. Bit of worse hair. Powdered hair.
same kind of dark dye in it though, but just didn't look right. It looked, his skin looked very pale.
The late 80s, early 90s.
Anyway, we're going to move on, John, to our
like
final topic. It's Star Wars. We're getting back into Star Wars talk here.
Yes.
And I would possibly say the last few times we've been speaking about Star Wars, it's been actually very positive. So maybe we're on that road again to the Force Friday show.
The Mandalorians came out, Stephen.
No, exactly. But Leslye Headland talks about her Disney Plus series. This is coming in from Empire, John. While The Mandalorian is currently the standard bearer for Star Wars on the small screen, there are other projects on the way, including the Obi-Wan series and a Rogue One prequel, and then there are those that are still shrouded in mystery like A Foggy Day on Dagobah. Among these is the show coming from Russian Doll. I think that's just saying it's shrouded in mystery like A Foggy Day.
Could you imagine a TV show based on A Foggy Day on Dagobah? That'd be great, man. Yoda comes back. A day in the life of Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
John, I can actually see that as a Sunday afternoon sitcom on the BBC. Very middle class.
Stephen, I'd watch it like a John Favreau sort of cookery show. Yoda preparing the stew that he ultimately gives to Luke. It tastes like crap, apparently, but people have recreated many, many times over the years.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. It sounds like monkey tennis to me, but among these is the show coming from Russian Doll co-creator Leslye Headland, who appeared on the fantastic Frankie podcast to talk about her series. Naturally, there's only so much that Headland can say about the show given the labyrinth non-disclosure documents that no doubt signed, but she did offer up a little bit of detail. I would say it's in a pocket of the universe and a pocket of the timeline that we don't know much about. That's a good way of getting out of it. Headland specifies that's what I can say. There's going to be something we haven't discussed in the canon yet. There are going to be some characters you don't know about. It's about going on a journey through the Star Wars universe. She's giving nothing away here. No. Headland also brought up her own extensive fandom of the franchise, which included coming back to it via other small screen adventures. I was already a big fan of Star Wars. Growing up, I was a huge fan, but with the advent of YouTube, that's when I started to really start. I'm struggling here tonight. I'm absolutely slurring my words. I'll start again. And growing up, I was a huge fan, but with the advent of YouTube, that's when I started to get more into Star Wars again, because I was in my early 20s when the prequels came out. I went to see them, but I didn't get immersed in them as with the original trilogy when I was a kid, because then I was reading Timothy Zahn books and getting more into it, but I realised there was this whole other world going on that I didn't realise. And although through YouTube I got introduced to Clone Wars and Dave Filoni and started to consume the comics and video games, the fandom was my way back into it. I got back in around the time of Disney's acquisition, and I knew we'd start to get more Star Wars. So what's your take on this, John? Because this didn't really get off to a good foot, this whole breaking news about Leslye Headland's announcement that she would be, producing a television series.
It's because of connections.
Star Wars television series out with the sort of timeline where we've ever been before. Mm-hmm. And she says it in this roundabout way that it's going to be something that no one has ever considered before. We don't know the characters. They're all going to be new. It's going to be a period that we've not delved into yet. Mm-hmm. So I would like to say it's very interesting. It is very interesting because it's Star Wars, but there's not a lot of meat in the bone in this article, I'm afraid. But you actually said you're actually coming round to her appointment. Yeah, by all accounts she's an aggressive feminist, according to some channels. Yeah, Geeks and Gamers for one. Jeremy. Jeremy's always got an opinion on things like this. Let's be honest. And obviously Doomcock's the other guy who's a bit of a doom monger, a doom merchant, if you like. When this got announced initially, it was the end of the world. Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, they hadn't greenlit this. They were raging against Kathleen Kennedy. This was her final throw of the dice before she left unharmoniously out the side door as president of Lucasfilm. Well, I think we're about 6 months on. I understand we're in a pandemic, but she's still here. Yeah. Iger's away. Stop the count. Yeah, Chapek. We're doing it again. Stop the count. But you're behind, Donald. Why you want to stop the count? You not want to keep counting to see if you can catch up with Joe. Sleepy Joe, the guy you would never lose to, but you did lose to. You lost to him in a huge fashion. What have I started here? 5 million votes you've been beat by, Tango Man. Bugger off into the jail, you absolute
gonky a guy, man, honestly. I cannot stand him. We'll not go there. What a joke he is, man. Did you see Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen, taking the absolute piss out of him? Dancing in YMCA? That was great, man. I just love the fact everybody hates him. Apart from these sort of loonball fringe over in the States, 69 million, 71 million of them by all accounts. Yeah. We always knew it was a bit lunatic over there. But even his niece over here is absolutely destroying him. It's great. She's like sort of cheering that the guy's lost the election, because by all accounts she took the healthcare away from her father, his older brother, when he was dying of alcoholism. Jeez. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. Getting off on a tangent about Donald Trump, man. Let's drain it back into Star Wars. I just can't stand the guy, so we'll just end it on a nice note, not on a negative political note. Deep breath. Yeah, Stephen, Leslye Headland. Leslye Headland.
That's the one.
I'm kind of spitting on the mic here. Let's take that off. I wasn't sure about her appointment at first, because obviously aware of the whole Harvey Weinstein connection.
Yeah.
She never really stood up and destroyed this guy for being a dirty sort of abusive rapist. He's been convicted, we can say that now, that he was. And that kind of red light, a sort of red alarm, whatever you want to call red something, they were flashing the warning signs. Is this the kind of person you want in charge of a Star Wars TV show? But look, we've seen this before. We've seen famous philosophers talking about situations like Nazi Germany and stuff like that. Good people don't stand up because they want to protect their own skin. Yeah. It's just a human form. People will not they will not stand up when they're under huge stress, and they know it's the right thing to do. They want to protect themselves. Self-preservation kicks in. So I'm not going to do her down for that. And what excited me about this article was speaking about Star Wars and appreciation of the original trilogy, reading the likes of Timothy Zahn, I presume the Thrawn trilogy or duology.
Yeah.
That excites me because she's clearly a real Star Wars fan who's been a fan since childhood, like us. So she's got the passion like a Filoni and a Favreau. Hopefully
maybe
she can take that
those books to Kennedy.
Yes, exactly. Kennedy clearly isn't a fan. She's just a opportunist who jumped into the president seat when she had the chance and absolutely destroyed a legacy of actors and characters. Chance to have the original three back together again, or not rant. So yeah, look, I've kind of changed my mind on this. It's kind of exciting, even though I'm not a huge fan of the concept of all female TV shows. I don't mind a female led, because as we did say before we came on, we've currently got an Obi-Wan, a Mandalorian, a Cassian Andor, 3 male led TV shows primarily. I know we've got
John,
Gina Carano's
I would
character.
say out of the 5 Disney films that have been released so far, we've had 4 female led films. Mm-hmm. We've had the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi, and the Rise of Skywalker, and Rogue One were all female led, with Rey and obviously Jyn Erso. And then when you look at Solo as well, you've got that strong character in Kira as well. So who was, I know it was called Solo and it was about his adventure, but I think she was just as prominent
and obviously
in that film as well, you know. So anyone that wants to have a go at us, you know, thinking we're chauvinistic or anything, you're on the wrong track, because you're absolutely right, John. I think female led is one thing, but all female is an issue, because it's not any different to having an all male cast as well, you know, which would raise questions, and rightly so. But I like the fact that she's coming out now. She's actually had a chance to speak. That's what I like about this. When all that stuff with the Geeks and Gamers stuff and all that was coming out at the beginning, we hadn't heard from her yet. No. And now we're getting interviews with her and what she's all about. It does interest me that she has done her homework. She is a fan, clearly a fan. Yeah. Whether or not you know, she didn't like the prequels or not, that's horses for courses as far as I'm concerned. I liked the story of the prequels. It just wasn't executed well for me. Same as yourself, John.
In fairness, Stephen, she didn't say she didn't like it. She just said she wasn't as immersed in it as the original. Yeah. Which is fair enough, because the original is special. The original trilogy,
John, for years I did try to connect both those trilogies together, but I even went out and got the individual DVDs, you know, and put them side by side to convince myself the same thing, you know. And for quality, they're not, you know. No, they're not. Unfortunately, the story is consistent through the 6 films, but the actual production,
it's too jarring, Stephen. Yeah. Visually, it's too jarring. The flash of new technology, and the story, it just doesn't contain. There's no continuity, because there was something about the original trilogy. The chemistry, just the sort of carefreeness of the whole thing, the way it was set up, edited. It was just special. Yeah. You can't really replicate that in a modern era. It's just not there. No. You don't get many movies made like that now. Period. Very few in fact. Maybe Edgar Wright or something like that with a Baby Driver. He does something special, a passion project.
Yeah.
Spans 10 years. Something, but that ain't near an original Star Wars for originality and different sort of vibes and stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to get on her back for that. But the final thing I'd say, obviously they were gonna, various channels were going after her for the sort of aggressive feminism sort of stuff. But that's something you have over in LA and sort of creative sources in the United States, places where filmmaking's done and writing's done. LA, New York, it's going to be more liberal minded people, and they are just more drawn to that sort of thing, feminism and stuff like that. So I can't attack her for that, man. She's female, she's going to want to empower her own gender. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't seep into the story and we're not man bashing. I don't give a shit if it's a good story, good characters, and in fact they're doing something new as well, going off to a new era, a new area of the galaxy. That's what I want Disney to do. They need to go off and do their own stories, own characters, get the gorilla off the back of the original trilogy, stop contracting the universe and expand it.
This can be a way to condition people into the eventual Rian Johnson films as well, which are going off in the same sort of road as well. But I think a television series is the best way to do it at this stage.
Do you think Ryan will get his trilogy then?
I think he will, John. I just think it's just not it's not placed anywhere at the moment, so I don't think he's got any time soon to start rushing into writing the story, in depth or anything like that. He'll have an outline of what he wants to do. He's a fantastic filmmaker. He's a great storyteller. I just don't think the Skywalker saga was his thing. He should not have touched that. Giving him one film was a bad idea. Maybe giving him 3 films, he could have expanded out a bit more. Yeah. But it's a hard thing to do what he was trying to do in one film, and the middle film as well. And
Stephen, even then, he was backed into a corner, of course, as well, having to try and sort of continue it right through from the end scene. No real jump in time. That's something we've seen in Star Wars movies.
If I was an established filmmaker, director, and someone said to me, we want you to continue the story of Luke Skywalker, I'd be like, no
you
chance.
Can't win. No
chance.
matter what way you handle the character, people are going to have their own vision of what that character done. You'll never win. There'll be criticism, positive, negative, every way, no matter what you do. But Stephen, look, the final thing, Alan, now that you've brought in Rian Johnson, can't even deny, even in the Last Jedi, shit though it was in parts, there was some interesting concepts he put in. The Force FaceTime, on a visual sort of level, it was the most
crate stuff was good.
Advanced sort of Star Wars movie. Yeah, the crate stuff was very cool visually. And just what he done on a sort of technical level, it was a very impressive feat in the movie. That moment where Holdo jumps to hyperspace and the silence and the shot of the ship sort of breaking up, incredible. There was some incredible moments. The moment with Leia and Luke reuniting, the whole spark theme. Yoda. Also, that's John Williams. Yoda as well. There was some special little moments sprinkled in, but for the most part, absolutely shit movie. But it's just a sort of microcosm of that whole trilogy. Just a joke trilogy, discombobulated, no sort of creative vision. Didn't know what they were doing. That's because Kathleen Kennedy's a sort of incompetent buffoon leading the whole ship. A vessel of seagoing snitches is what we were talking about. Al Pacino before we came on. Scent of a woman. Let's do it. I'm going to shoot you in the back. So let's round it up on that.
Yeah.
Yes, let's round it up on that note, man. What's your thoughts on the topics we touched upon on the show today? What do you make about the Fatima Sana Shaikh admission, or sort of reflection, if you'd like, on Bollywood, the pitfalls and the highs of success and failure, and how that's sort of shaping her career moving forward? Is that something you're intrigued by? It's something we've certainly seen in Western movie making as well. Daisy Ridley and Meena Massoud and a few other people, I'm sure, as well. What do you make about Johnny Depp, the whole stuff with Amber Heard? Are you going to watch the Fantastic Beasts trilogy, or 5 movies franchise? Don't know why I said trilogy. How do you think they can handle the recasting of the Gellert Grindelwald character? What do you make about Brandon Routh and his conversation on Superman Returns 2 not happening? Terrible name. It's never going to be called that. Finally, what do you make about the Leslye Headland? I'm thinking about her from Game of Thrones. Lena Headley or something like that, I don't know.
Joe Ledley, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Ledley with his tremendous beard. What's your thoughts on that Disney Plus female-led, not all female, like Doomcock and the other bangers on YouTube are talking about? If you've got anything to say about that at all, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. And if you do, that's precisely what you'll get. You get more content like this, more movie news, more reactions, more reviews in the future. But look, as ever, until then, bye-bye.